Hi, I'm Billy Newman, Certified Forester and Wildlife Manager for Envirofor LLC. Envirofor is short for Environmental Forestry and Wildlife Consulting. We want to have a series of video segments to talk about forest management and silviculture with forest management. And silviculture is just biologically how trees grow and develop and interact with one another. Whether alone or within groups or stands, as we call them as foresters of forest trees. And to begin with, though, we need to have a good understanding how our Appalachian hardwood forests grow and develop. And to start that, if you'll go on a little imaginary trip with me, we'll begin here in an old field that's beginning to regenerate. It's been abandoned. The landowner has no desire to clip it for hay or graze it for livestock or keep it in an open situation in the future. So they've decided to abandon this field. Well, what's going to happen? Is it going to stay a field? As you can see around me, we're beginning to have herbaceous and growth and grasses, and beginning to have some woody vegetation come in as well, like trees and shrubs. That's called the primary stage of forest succession. Within this stage of forest succession, these species of plants, shrubs, and trees are here because they require full sunlight in order to grow and develop. This stage of forest succession, once complete, will last probably 70 or 80 years. Then these tree species will begin to go away. We have species currently here like the pine species. We could perhaps have eastern red cedar, black locust, black walnut on a good site. But those species require full sunlight in order to fully grow and develop. You're rarely going to see them growing in the shady area. Once we leave this stage in 70 or 80 years, these trees have a defined lifespan and are just going to go away. Like every biological entity has a defined lifespan. What's going to happen after that? Are they going to be replaced by the same species of trees? Very likely not. Typically, they'll be replaced by what we term as a secondary or intermediate stage of forest succession. And in our eastern temperate hardwood forests, in our Appalachian hardwood forests, these typically are the oak hickory forests and contain yellow poplar as well. And if you look with me behind me, you can see an example of this intermediate stage of forest succession with yellow poplar and a variety of the oak species. That particular stand there is somewhere between 60 and 70 years of age, and it'll persist for years and years, barring some disturbance. Those particular trees, the shortest lived of them might be a scarlet oak, which will generally live 70, 80, maybe 90 years in the oak family. The longest lived tree that you might find in there probably would be the white oak, also in the oak family, which, barring some insect or disease situation or disturbance of some kind, it could persist several hundred years on its own. But at the end of this intermediate stage of forest succession, these trees, having a defined biological lifespan, are going to go away. So what's going to replace them then? More of the same? Probably not. If we walk over here in this stand, we're very likely to see trees growing in the understory. Trees like the maples, gum. We might find some American beech, some black birch. These species can grow and fully develop under shade their whole life cycle. So what happens in this climax or final stage, if you will, of forest succession? Once it's here, once it's on a landowner's property, it tends to persist over time, because those species can grow, regenerate, and regrow under their own shade. As forest and wildlife managers, if we desire other species over the course of time, and forest landowners as well, we have to do something to help Mother Nature to accomplish that. And the way we can do that is through timber harvesting and management of silvicultural systems through timber harvesting. In following segments, you will see where this has been accomplished, and you can see as forest landowners where this may be beneficial to you looking at your timberland. But in the meanwhile, remember, money really does grow on trees. What is your timber worth?